any. Stick to the game.
Securing Bravo.
Dear. Oh God! Do 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 do.
You make me feel so young.
Halftime.
Number 5, John and Robert. These two boys named John Venables and Robert Thompson were causing mischief all day at a local mall when they found a 2-year-old boy named James
Enemy
Bolger.
took Charlie.
This boy had been left alone by his mother for a very short period of time while waiting in
Secure
line
the
at the store.
objectives.
And John and Robert, seeing this, took him and led him away from the mall and murdered him. But before they murdered Bolger, they embarked on a 2-mile trek, and the entire time the two boys punched, kicked, and threw the 2-year-old boy around before leading him to a railroad track, where they poured paint into his eyes, threw rocks at him, beat him with a brick and a 20-pound iron bar. Then, after all that, they raped his dead body and threw his body on the railroad tracks. Number 4, Joshua Phillips. This 14-year-old named Joshua Phillips was convicted of first-degree murder. 7 days after the murder of Maddie Clifton, his 8-year-old neighbor, his mother was cleaning his room when she found a wet and dark spot under his waterbed. Thinking it was just a leak that her son was too embarrassed to tell her about, she took the electrical tape holding the bed together off and discovered something horrendous. The body of Maddie Clifton, who had been missing for several days at this point. Joshua's explanation for all this was that he was playing with Maddie and accidentally hit her in the eye with a baseball bat, and brought her back to his room out of panic, and decided to stab her 11 times. At his trial, the jury did not believe this story one bit and convicted him. The only reason he didn't qualify for the death penalty at the time was because he was under the age of 16. Number 3, Graham Young. This boy had the experience of a postgraduate chemistry student at the age of 14, and had very extensive knowledge of addiction poisoning, and learned all this through library
Capture
textbooks.
the objectives.
Young idolized many murderers at the time, some of them being Dr. Holly Pippin and Adolf Hitler. Unfortunately, most of his experience of using these poisons was on his own friends and family. One time, he poisoned his entire family at dinner time, and they all suffered stomach pains, non-stop vomiting, and diarrhea for days on end. Young was caught when his teacher searched his desk at school later one evening after overhearing him talking about poisons to other classmates. She found many poisons,
Hostile
texts
counter
about
UAV
famous
above.
prisoners, and
Radar
drawings
is
of
down.
dead men.
Losing
The
Alpha.
police were immediately called, and Young was sent to a
Securing
maximum
Charlie.
security hospital, where he kept poisoning hospital staff and fellow
See you
prisoners.
both down.
Young was eventually
Hostile
freed
care
from prison
package
and
overhead.
kept poisoning people. But fortunately, he was caught not too long
Securing Bravo.
afterwards and got sent to prison, where he died of
Losing
a heart
Alpha.
attack. Number 2, TJ Lane.
Lost Alpha.
Here we have TJ Lane. Some of you might know who he is because a video of his trial went
Hostile
viral
GI
recently.
unit
He wears a
detected.
shirt that says "Killer" handwritten in Sharpie on
advised,
it, and he
hostile
says the
UAV
families of
incoming.
people injured, killed, and paralyzed in a school shooting. But the hand that pulled the trigger on his Ruger 3 to kill them masturbates to the memory of the killings, all while fingering them with
Losing
a smile
B.
on his face. This trial took place in 2012 and he was sent to prison on multiple life sentences for no parole. But not too long afterwards, he managed to escape prison in 2014. Don't worry though, he was only out for 6
Securing B.
hours before being caught and sent to a maximum security prison, where he spends 23 hours a day in solitary confinement. Number 1, Eric Smith. This is Eric Smith. When he was 13 years old, he would get made fun of because of his glasses, red hair, and freckles. Also, he had ears that were different from most. which he apparently got because of epilepsy medication his mother was taking while she was pregnant. And with all this bullying, he decided to let out his anger by murdering a 4-year-old boy named Derek Roby. When Derek's body was found, they found out what Eric had done. There was evidence that Eric strangled, dropped large rocks on his head, and sodomized him with a stick. Later, a psychiatrist diagnosed Eric with intermittent explosive disorder. This condition makes it almost impossible to control your anger. Eric, to this day, is still in jail. He applied for parole in 2014, and at his hearing, he said that he was bullied and tormented by his father and older sister, and that when he assaulted Roby, he didn't originally plan to kill him, but did so to ensure nobody would find out, and that the stick inserted into Roby was to make sure he was dead. Number 5. Officer William Stacy. Helen Johnson had an unexpected shock when she was caught trying to steal eggs in her dollar store in Alabama. Johnson lives with her 2 daughters, a niece, and 2 grandchildren. Suffering through extreme poverty, and at the point of her being caught, she had her last meal 2 days ago. On finding she didn't have enough money to buy the eggs, she stole them out of desperation. On hearing her plight, Officer William Stacy, who got called to the scene, bought her the eggs. Wow, what exceptional behavior. Number 4. Officer Pavlik and Hodges. Officers Jason Pavlik and James Hodge of Township, Michigan decided that their discretion allowed them to act with honor when stopping a young couple in a car. The mother holding a 10-month-old baby in her arms instead of the car seat. It soon became apparent that the couple weren't doing it out of ignorance or malice, but that they simply couldn't afford the car seat. So, the officers took them to a local Walmart and bought them one, showing them how to install it before wishing them on their way without a ticket. Number 3. Officer Vicky Thomas. On hearing Jessica Robles' reason for stealing food in the Publix supermarket in 2013, that her kids were hungry and that there was no food at home, and also that she couldn't afford to buy any, Officer Vicky Thomas decided they would not help feed the children, to simply slap the women in cuffs. So, she bought her $100 worth of groceries. On the story leaking out to the public, Robles was soon inundated with aid, and the story even caught the interest of a local employer with whom she was able to secure a job. Number 2. Lieutenant Aubrey Gregory. Asia Ford was seen being helped over the finish line of a 10-kilometer race in a truly heartwarming scene thanks to Lieutenant Aubrey Gregory. Asia had already lost over 200 pounds thanks to her resolve to lose weight, and with the help of a boot camp run by a friend of hers, whom was a fitness fanatic. She only wanted to beat her personal best time on the previous year. However, halfway through the race, she hit a wall, began to feel dizzy and sick. But Lieutenant Gregory was soon by her side to help her to the finish line, and she did manage to beat her personal best time by 3 minutes.
Secure the objective.
Number 1. Officer Gaetano Acera. Officer Gaetano Acera of South Carolina went far above and beyond all
Enemy has
duties
Charlie.
when responding to a domestic call
Alpha
issued by
secure.
13-year-old Cameron Simmons. Cameron had a fight with his mother and told Acera that he didn't want to live with her anymore. But when he noticed the fact that the teen's room didn't even have a bed, Acera fully furnished her with a bed, desk, dresser, and a Wii, to make his life more bearable and more comfortable. After the generosity Officer Acera
Securing
showed,
C.
the two shared personal phone numbers so Cameron could talk to him about anything at any
All
time.
locations secured. Maintain current posture. Losing Charlie. Losing Bravo. Enemy has C.
Do you think it's dead?
Hostile UAV spotted.
When do you think it's dead? Dead, 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 dead.